This is test J, the first logic game. A company is generating a series of 5-digit product codes in accordance with the following rules. First rule says you can only use 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is 5 different digits, and you're going to use 5 digits in the code. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are the only digits that are available. Each digit occurs exactly once in any code, which means we're going to have to use one of each of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 because these are 5-digit codes. Put the first two together and you realize that all we're doing here is we're going to put the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in some order, and that's going to be a product code. Okay, the second digit, it says, has a value exactly twice of the first. Now, don't be afraid. You are going to have to use math that you learned in 2nd grade at this point, okay? This is about as mathy as the LSAT ever gets, but you do need to understand how multiplication works. And if our only choices are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the second digit has to be exactly twice the first, how many different ways are there that we can do that? Nicole says 2 ways. Taja says 2 ways. There are 2 ways for just the first 2 codes. There are the 2 digits in the code. There are 2 ways that we can make the second digit be exactly twice the first. So now, without worrying about the 3rd digit and the 5th digit, the next rule, I'm going to leave that aside for just a second. I'm going to make 2 worlds here based on the 3rd rule. If the second digit has to be exactly twice the first, then there are only 2 ways to do that. Those first 2 digits must be 1 and 2 or 2 and 4. Those are the only 2 ways to start our product codes. Remember, the second digit has to be exactly twice the first. 3 is not exactly twice any of these other numbers. 0 is not twice any of these other numbers. And twice 0 is 0. So 0 and 3 ain't making it into the first 2 digits in the code. To satisfy the 3rd rule, the first 2 digits must be 1 and 2 or 2 and 4. And now I have baked that rule into my solution, and I never have to think about that again. As long as every product code starts looking like this or like this, I can't break the rule. If I can't break the rule, then I don't have to think about the rule anymore. The purpose of making worlds is to eliminate rules. I'm going to do an easier version of this game from here because I no longer have to keep processing that 3rd rule. Now, can I do that again with this 4th rule? Remember, I have to always start in this template or in this template. How does that 4th rule apply? It says that the 3rd digit has to be less than the 5th digit. So let me think about that now. In the world where I start 1 and 2, what are my remaining 3 digits? 0, 3, and 4. Okay. The 5th digit has to be more than the 3rd digit. I've only got 0, 3, and 4 left. I can infer right away that this digit has to be 0 or 3. Can't be 4 because 4 is the highest digit. The 5th digit has to be higher than the 3rd digit, so this can't be 4. This has to be 0 or 3. And I could leave that there, and I could start drawing some arrows about the 5th spot has to be less than the 3rd spot, but again, I think I can just make worlds or split the worlds I already have so that I don't have to continue to process the 5th digit has to be higher than the 3rd. So let me just demonstrate. There's a lot of different ways that you can go from here, but I'm going to split both this world and this world based on the fifth digit has to be higher than the third. And let me, just to make it explicit what I'm doing here, this digit right here, in the world where I start 2, 4, my remaining digits are 0, 1, and 3, right? The fifth digit has to be higher than the third digit, so this can't be 3, because then there'd only be 0 and 1 left for the fifth digit. That won't work. So this digit does have to be 0 or 1, right? Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fully bake that rule into my worlds. I'm going to split the 1, 2 world, and I'm going to split the 2, 4 world, so that I don't have to keep processing this fifth digit higher than the third digit. I'll do it once, and then I'm going to run through the questions like bang, 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 and move on to the next game. All right. So our big split was here. These will be the 1, 2 solutions, and these will be the 2, 4 solutions. The 1, 2 solutions are going to have a third digit that's either 0 or 3. If the third digit is 0, my two remaining numbers, 3 and 4, are both higher than 0. So I don't care which one is 3 and which one is 4. These two spots will now be 3 and 4 in either order, and I'll use this handle to indicate that they can switch. In the world where the third digit is 3, the fifth digit has to be higher. For the fifth digit to be higher, it can only be 0 or 4. Well, I guess it has to be 4, because the fifth digit has to be higher than the third digit, leaving only 0 for that spot. Pretty simple, right? Now in my two worlds that start with 1, 2, I never have to process any of the rules ever again. So it's just, oh, I can do it this way, or this way. Or I could be down here in these 2, 4 worlds. Now in the 2, 4 worlds, and this would be a good spot, by the way, to pause the video. If you're watching this recorded, pause the video here and see if you can write out what I'm going to do next in the 2, 4 worlds. But in the 2, 4 worlds, the third digit's going to be either 1 or 0. When it's 0, whatever the fifth digit is going to be higher than that. So who's left? 1 and 3. And I guess the same thing is going to happen here. 1 and 3 in either order. Don't really care because they're both higher than 3. Or sorry, higher than 0. And then in this world, all I've got left is 0 and 3. The fifth digit has to be higher than the third digit. 0 is not higher than 1. So 3 has to go there. 0 has to go here. And now I am completely done with the game. Done like put the cat back on the pen, done with the game, because I am not going to have to do any work to solve questions 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. What I've done here is I have made worlds that incorporated all 4 of my rules so that I never have to think about those rules again, and now it's going to be a free-for-all on answering these questions. Number 1, if the last digit of an acceptable product code is 1, it must be true that what? Well, there's only one world where the fifth digit can be 1, right? That's not going to be 1, that's going to be 3 or 4, that's going to be 4, that's going to be 3. So the only world I can possibly be in order for the last digit to be 1, is this world, and specifically, you would have to flip the 3 and the 1. If you wanted to write that out, you certainly could. It's going to be 2, 4, 0, 3, 1. I think I can hold it in my head, but I'm in this world with these guys flipped. And now it says which one must be true. Does the first digit have to be 2? Yes, it does. That's the answer. Does the second digit have to be 0? No, it's 4. Does the third digit have to be 3? No, it's 0. Does the fourth digit have to be 4? No, it's 3. That gets rid of E as well. The answer for number 1 is A. Number 2 says, which one of the following must be true about any acceptable product code? So in all 4 of my worlds, does it have to be true that the 1 is before the 2? No, because I have a couple worlds where the 2 is first. If it must be true, then it must be true in every solution. It doesn't have to be true in every solution. You can put the 2 first. Does it have to be true that the 1 is before the 3? Here it is, and here it is, and here it is, but not here. In this code, the 1 and the 3 can go in either order, so the answer for number 2 is not B. Does the 2 always have to be before the 3? Yes, 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 yes. The 2 is always before the 3, so the answer for number 2 is C. Does the 3 always have to be before the 0? Nah. Does the 4 always have to be before the 3? No. The answer for number 2 is C. Number 3, if the third digit is not 0, which one must be true? So that gets us out of this world, and it gets us out of this world, but we still could be here and here. Here the third digit is 3, here the third digit is 1. So which one now must be true both here and here in my check-marked worlds? Which one has to be true both here and here? Second digit is 2? No, it could be 4. Third digit is 3? No, it could be 1. Fourth digit is 0? Yes, yes. That's the answer. Fifth digit is 3? No, it could be 4. Fifth digit is 1? No, it could be 4 or 3. It actually can't be 1. The answer for number 3 is C, because in both worlds where the third digit isn't 0, the fourth digit has to be 0. That's the answer. Number 4, any of the following pairs could be third and fourth, respectively. That means in that order, except. So third and fourth digits in order. Can it be 0 then 1? Right here, 0, 1. Can it be 0 then 3? 0, 3. Can it be 1 then 0? 1, 0. Can it be 3 then 0? 3, 0. Can it be 3 then 4? No. There's only one world where 3 can be the third digit, and when 3 is the third digit, 0 has to be the fourth digit. So the answer number 4, E, is the only one that is not an acceptable third and fourth digit in the code. Last one, number 5. Which one of the following must be true about any acceptable product code? There's exactly one digit between the 0 and the 1. No, they can be right next to each other, or they can be farther apart than that. It does not always have to be exactly one digit between the 0 and the 1. How about exactly one digit between the 0 and the 2? Nah, they can be right next to each other. Does it have to be true that there are at most 2 digits between the 1 and the 3? No. In my first world, I could have 1 first and 3 last, which would be 3 digits in between the 1 and the 3. How about at most 2 digits between the 2 and the 3? Nope. In this world, I can have 2 first and 3 last, so there could be 3 digits between the 2 and the 3. How about at most 2 digits between the 2 and the 4? Yeah, in both of these worlds, the 2 is second and the 4 could be last, but still, at most, that's 2 digits in between the 2 and the 4. In both of these worlds, the 2 and the 4 are right next to each other. So at most, in all solutions, at most, there are 2 digits between the 2 and the 4. And the answer for number 5 is E. I noticed that Alex pointed out in the chat that she had written out all 6 of the worlds. She ended up with 6 worlds. And that's true. She just wrote out the 3-4 and the 4-3 version of this. She also wrote out the 1-3 and the 3-1 version of this. I tend not to do that if I can incorporate it into just one template with like a handle like this. I would tend not to write it out. But you're already getting it, Alex. I mean, if you did get to the point where you had all 6 of the solutions just totally written out, that's fine. I think that this is maybe a little bit more efficient, but you're clearly understanding the principle.